Both teams, Oklahoma, Baylor, tournament-worthy battle at the Lloyd Noble Center, where OU tried to beat Baylor for the 28th straight time. Final seconds of regulation. Curtis Gerals goes to the rim, gets it as time is expiring. Bears from 8 down, tied at 75. We're going to overtime. Gerals finished with 29. Less than 20 to go. Baylor led by as many as 7 in the extra session. Tony Crocker. How does that go, and how does he get fouled? We're tied at 91. And now the free throw for the 4-point play and the 1-point lead for the home team. Got it. Closing seconds. Gerals fouled on this thing with 1 second left. He'll go to the line to shoot 2. Gerals, as I said, he finished with 29 because he didn't finish with 30. And he didn't finish with 31. He's going to miss both these, and still the Bears are going to get a pretty decent shot at a putback. It does not go, and OU wins it in overtime, 92-91.
To the surprise of some, Kelvin Sampson lasted through the weekend, but will he see another Saturday as Indiana's head basketball coach? The school's investigation into the NCAA's accusations that Sampson committed 5 major rules violations was to be completed in time for a recommendation as to what to do with Sampson on Friday. First time in college hoops history, this truly might not be about wins and losses, and that might be a good thing for Sampson with Purdue, winners of 11 straight in Bloomington, 14th and 15th ranked schools in the country going at it. Big-time game in the Big Ten. Sampson had to be tickled that DJ White was playing despite the sprained left knee there. Gets the lob pass over the top, and then off the Eric Gordon miss, White offensive board and putback. White had 19 and 14. Gordon, by the way, hit just 4 of 12 shots. Speaking of which, in the first half, Gordon and Purdue's Robbie Hummel held in check. Gordon just 7 points, Hummel only 2. That would not be the case in the second half. Gordon finishing there. Then the loose ball comes out to Gordon. When I say deep 3, I mean it. Indiana, a 10-point lead. Hummel, time for him to respond, and he would. Not as deep, but still counts as 3. Then Hummel, good job sealing off his defender. Takes the pass, lays it in. Hummel had 15 second-half points after scoring 2 points in the first half. And then Gordon, the drive, draws 3 Purdue defenders. Somebody's got to be wide open, and Jamarcus Ellis was. Gordon finished with 22 in what could be Kelvin Sampson's final game. Afterwards, Aaron Andrews spoke briefly with the coach.
Tell me about this game. I mean, what does it mean for the Big Ten, for you guys in the standings?
Well, the great thing about this game is it puts us 11 and 2. You know, we have a big game coming up Saturday, but now we head down the stretch. And all of our goals that we had to start the year, Aaron, is our goal was to win the Big Ten championship. Purdue's got a great chance. We've got a great chance. Wisconsin, Michigan State. You know, the good thing is our team is right there, and we've got to finish off strong.
Kelvin, this is the last game before Rick Greenspan submits his...
Say about that. Thank you.
Well, the win pulls Indiana to within a half game of Purdue, first place in the Big Ten. This is the third of 3 straight games against ranked teams for the Hoosiers. They win the last 2. And if Tuesday was, in fact, Kelvin Sampson's last game as Hoosiers head coach, he will have won 74% of his games in his 2 seasons in Bloomington.
DePaul, Connecticut, 13th ranked Huskies, 9-game winning streak was over. And then it wasn't over. Second half, DePaul up by 10. Draylon Burns nails a 3. DePaul up 42-29, a 14-point run to start the half. They were just 4 of 21 from 3, but we're showing you 2 of them. Deron Clark hits the 3. DePaul up 11. Then Doug Wiggins tries to find Stanley Robinson, but Stanley's not playing up there in the bleachers. Calhoun's like, yeah, that's a correctable mistake. A.J. Price finds Craig Austria, or simply Craig, for the 3. 4-point game. Then Hashim Thabit. Hashim on the block. When you think of garbage, think of Hashim. UConn goes up 59-58 with 3.5 left. 3-point game with 10 to go, but Will Walker can't get it to go, and UConn hangs on 65-60. Finished the game with a 25-7 run. Connecticut, 10 in a row. Longest win streak for the school since starting last season, 11-0. But that season finished horribly. This appears to be a team peaking, which is much better. 8 of the 10 wins have been by single digits. 4 have come against ranked opponents. UConn then will look to turn things up to 11. Saturday, Villanova, ESPN, noon Eastern.
Scott Reese, Jimmy Dykes, Steve Lavin diving in with Mike Krzyzewski and number 4 Duke coming off a loss to Wake Forest, trying to get well in Miami, but Jimmy, the Dukies were anything but well early on. Well, this is a club that lives off of being a skilled basketball team, shot selection, being crisp with the basketball. They weren't tonight. 14 turnovers in the first half, and guys that came in multiple ways from multiple guys. Nelson, Singler, Shire, Smith, they all had a part of it.
Well, it's the second consecutive game, Jimmy. 22 turnovers against Wake and 22 more tonight. They could open a bakery down at Cameron Indoor Stadium.
Dwayne Collins was a man-child for the Canes. That puts them up 7, but after the lead ballooned to as many as 20, then those three-point shooters of Duke started to kick it into gear.
Well, this is what they do. They space the floor as well as anybody in the country, and they shred the nets from all angles. That opens up the driving game. But tonight there was no answer for Dwayne Collins. 12 for 14, shooting 56% on the year. But tonight, that's ridiculous. He just nerfed basketball in his living room. One dunk after another. No answer from the Blue Devils.
Collins had 26. Here in the final 3 minutes, DeMarcus Nelson, the lay-in and one. He had 19, and maybe there's some life. But then Jack McClinton in front of the pack and the dagger. McClinton with 22, and Miami gets its first win over Duke since the first. The Tar Heels trying to not fall into that same trap against in-state rival NC State. Again, no Ty Lawson, and again, Tyler Hansbrough picking up the slack. Well, he's my National Player of the Year right now. The guy had unbelievable numbers again tonight, over 30 and 12 rebounds. And you just don't have an answer for him. You can double team him, but you can't double team his will. It's not his skill, it's his will that you have to handle with Tyler Hansbrough.
I love his muscle down low. We look at silky smooth Wayne Ellington here with a little razzle-dazzle Pete Maravich move with the kiss off the glass. But back to Hansbrough. Here's the dexterity, skill, and ability, good reading and recognizing, and a little hot potato here as North Carolina moves the ball quickly, and Ginyard along the baseline with a little chin up. But Hansbrough, strong down low, but also getting out in the open court, showing some track speed, and he does it without steroids or the human growth hormone. That's what's so impressive about his weight room strength.
He had 32. Carolina wins it by 14. Maybe it was Memphis trying to hold the course until that big date with Tennessee this weekend. And there's Chris Douglas-Roberts, who really owned this thing against Tulane throughout the 40 minutes. An explosive team. They have 3 future pros in Rose Dorsey and CDR. CDR playing his way into the National Player of the Year conversation as well. This is a Memphis team that could have been distracted tonight with a game on Saturday, but they were ferocious from the opening tip. And Coach Cal gets his 400th victory, and it's a big one, 97-71. So bring on Tennessee. The Vols just try not to slip up against Auburn, and well, they would be just fine, thank you. Chris Lofton, kind of a quiet day, only 12 points.
Well, a mirror image, Memphis and Tennessee. They both love the pressure defense. They get up and down the floor at high-octane speeds. When we watch this game Saturday at FedEx Forum, you better buckle up with the seatbelt, because this will be played at Daytona 500 speed.
There's Frank Tolbert knocking down the triple. He had 24, but really, this was all Vols, and another Smith, Ramar, had 19. Tennessee wins 89-70, so bring on Memphis. And that is what we get with the game day. K-State, Nebraska. Michael Beasley tied a career high with 40 his last time out, and not lacking for confidence on Wednesday.
It's going to be a fun night, yo. Like, I'm trying to tell you, I might go for 50 tonight.
Or you might not. Things didn't start out so well for number 30, Jimmy, as the Cornhusker D swarming in the early going. Well, he's always number 1 on the scouting report. Doc Sadler did a great job of scheming tonight to take Beasley out of the game, got him frustrated with his teammates, got him frustrated with his coaches. He only had 5 points in the first half. He did come back in the second half and get a double-double, but Nebraska made him work. And in the second half, as you mentioned, vintage Beasley as he hits from outside, and then there and the foul, his 22nd double-double of the season. More on that in a moment. Final 30 seconds of a tight game. Air ball. Clint Stewart rejected by Alex Marich, who was terrific. And Nebraska knocks off the Cats, and they're storming the court. Always a factor for the Cats, but in the first half, well, he was a spectator. 2 fouls on the bench for much of it, but his mates picked him up. Dwayne Anderson for 3. And then Corey Stokes, this from somewhere near Punxsutawney, he had 15. Back to Mr. Anderson, who had 5 triples in the half. They're a lot like Duke. When they shoot the ball well from the perimeter, they can win ball games. When they don't, they struggle. They've struggled from the perimeter lately. Tonight, they flat out shot the lights out. Now there's Reynolds finally getting his groove on, and Nova a substantial victory, 78-56. So, Jimmy, you look at the Mountaineers' resume, and they are sort of the epitome of a bubble team right now, in or out.
Tonight, they would be out. Their only road wins in conference play at South Florida and at Providence. That's not good enough.
Well, Jimmy, I like West Virginia in because the strength of the Big East. Behind the Pac-10, the next best conference, the Big East, I think West Virginia's in.
Another one of those bubble-licious bunches, Arkansas hosting LSU in a big first half for the Hogs. Patrick Beverly taking it strong.
He is outstanding. The guy's averaging almost 10 rebounds a game in SEC play as a 6'1 guard.
Steve, remember Arkansas back-to-back NCAA tournaments. This team is experienced when it comes to March.
Second half, more of same is crashing the offensive glass. Michael Washington, and this will be authoritative. Razorbacks win at 87-61. Jimmy, this is a Razorback team that could be very dangerous if they do get into the NCAA tournament. What do you think, in or out?
Tonight, they are in. I think they're one of the last 4 teams in right now. They have a small margin for error. They have to win 2 games coming up. At Kentucky on Saturday and beat Vanderbilt in Fayetteville on March 1st. And the Razorbacks are back to the NCAA tournament.
Stay in the SEC for the 2-time defending champion Florida Gators. The Rowdy Reptiles on hand. Second half of a 6-point game. Nick Calathis, another outstanding frosh. And the foul.
Well, Billy Donovan doing a nice job with this young team considering what he lost to the NBA last year, the early draft entries. They are in the mix.
Devin Downey trying to rain on the Gator parade. And then Mike Holmes, he be jamming. It's a 3-point game late, but Dan Werner will seal the deal. Wide open spaces. Gators 85-82. So lap. Florida gets win number 20, but the strength of schedule 123rd in the nation. Is that good enough?
At this stage, no, they still have work to do. Southeastern Conference not having one of the more stellar years, but Billy Donovan, a master at pushing all the right buttons down.
Wisconsin, Illinois, Bruce Weber and the Illini haven't had a whole lot of fight in them this year, but early on, this is nice. Sean Pruitt, fundamentally sound one-hand jam. Other end, Badgers shooting lights out.
Jason Bohannon with bottoms of the net continues to have the hot hand. This Badger team, Bo Ryan, old-fashioned style of winning basketball.
Marcus Landry, the and one, and then Michael Flowers, sick crossover. Badgers win 71-57. How about Penn State and Michigan State? Remember, the Sparties got beat by the Lions last time around, so Tom Izzo bringing in the reinforcements as Mooch sitting behind him.
He becomes the offensive coordinator tonight for Michigan State, and they were outstanding on the offensive end. They came in averaging 16 turnovers a game. Tonight, only 7. Terrific offense and passing of the basketball by the guys in white.
They also had 10 triples. You saw Kalen Lucas there left.
Well, Mariucci could be that extra assistant, possibly an NCAA violation. We'll have to look into that tomorrow. Call Coach Izzo.
Now, don't be stirring up trouble. Raymar Morgan, who's been in a bit of a funk lately, certainly not on this day. And here it's Goran Sutan with the easy deuce. Michigan State wins it in a laugher. Nittany Lions, by the way, 0-16 all-time in East Lansing. So, behold the top of the Big Ten standings. Jimmy, who do you like out of this pack?
I like Indiana because of their remaining schedule. Regardless of what happens with Kelvin Sampson later on this week and his status, I think Indiana will be the Big Ten champion when you look at their schedule.
Ohio State still with some work to do here down the stretch, but it looks as though these five here receive bids to the NCAA tournament.
You get to be ranked 6th in the nation. Well, you could have good balance, be deep. They got 4 different players, UCLA does, that average at least 12 points per game. Oregon State figured to find that out firsthand. Kevin Love scored in double figures every game this season. That's 15 double-doubles. Scary moment for him and the Bruins. In the first half, Love up for the blocked shot, rolled the ankle, hobbled a bit, but stayed in the game. The very next possession, go right back to him. Love had 11 points and 9 rebounds. Bruins were up 13. Here's Love on the rebounding end there. The outlet to Russell Westbrook. And nice catch. And the foul. Westbrook had 17. And then up 27, garbage time. Derek Collison the steal. Finds Josh Shipp. Collison had 14. Shipp had 6. So 2 of the 4 guys who averaged 12 don't. They didn't need the points. They won by 35. 21st ranked Notre Dame, but couldn't wait for the weekend. Got it going Thursday night right here on ESPN. Luke Harangody, a double-double, 6 of his last 7 games. Notre Dame, 3rd longest current home winning streak in the country behind only Memphis and BYU. Torrey Jackson to Kyle McElharney for 3. Irish trail by 1. A minute later, McElharney with the fans in the stands, including his family. We're tied at 61. Very next play, Herron going to the steal. He's going coast to coast. He can't finish. He had 23. Irish go on to win by 12, extend the home winning streak to 35. Pitt's lost 7 of their last 8 Big East road games.
State looking for its 4th straight win, hosting Arizona State. That was Derek Lowe. And here's Derek Lowe, uncontested first half. He had 15 points. Still first half. Ty Abbott, the steal, and the nice move to feed James Harden. Sun Devils within 4 at halftime. Second half, Dave Van Harmelen. Wide open for Hart. Cougars shot 43%. Wazoo's up. Harmelen, same spot. Cougs, 59-47. They sweep the season series. Wazoo has won 4 in a row. ASU bubbling. They've lost 7 of 9. The West Coast bias continues. Oregon and USC. Second half, Trojans and O.J. Mayo, after being down by as many as 15 in the first half, come back. Mayo knocks it down. Under 10 minutes left. Mayo right through the entire Duck defense to Angelo Johnson, USC's first lead of the game, trying to snap a 2-game losing skid. Here's why everybody loves Mayo. Mayo inside and Mayo here outside off the screen for 3. The whole thing, he had 32, and now USC has the lead at 3. Shot clock running down. Mayo, he can go deep as well. He scored 18 of the Trojans' last 24. USC wins 81-75. Trojans get Oregon State next. So here's the deal with the Pac-10. UCLA's blowout maintains the Bruins' 1-game lead over Stanford. UCLA beat the Cardinal back on January the 3rd. The rematch, which could decide the Pac-10, will come in L.A. March the 6th. Oregon State winless in conference. In fact, they're the only Pac-10 team with a losing overall record. Critical A-10 matchup with UMass. URI trying to avenge a 2-point loss earlier this month. Late second half, Ricky Harris, the leaner. UMass up 1, 17 lead changes in this game. Etienne Brower for Hurry. He had 26. UMass wins. Minutemen 17-9. URI staggering. They've lost 3 in a row and 4 of 5.